Hello, everybody. I'm Helen, and I teach at the Dorothy Benson Senior Services Center. And this is week 2 of our mola. It's one of the slow stitching movement ways of stitching. And remember, it originated off an island in the Panama by a group of people, and it spread to Costa Rica and Colombia. So this is the one that I've been working on. And I added embroidery stitches. Do you see the round dots are French knots? I did some chain stitching and then just regular running stitches. So I still haven't completely finished it. And I haven't done anything on the outside yet. Okay, so I can just go ahead and, do that. But I did add some what looks like leaves and maybe a stem on the bottom. All right, now I was thinking I need to show you one of the ways if you're having trouble coming up with a design, and you can go online and actually print out patterns, mola patterns, okay? You can just Google free mola patterns or something for printing. So what I did was you might want to use construction paper, but I just took printer paper and I cut out just, little things. So I'm going in the reverse. I'm going from small to large. And then I took another piece of paper, inserted inside here, okay? And I folded it. All right, so let me show you what I'm doing. I folded it and then I trace the design here, okay? I just kind of trace it. All right, I'm going to take this out because it's a little bit too thick. And we're going to cut that out. But I'm going to cut it out. Let's see, let's make a line a little bit. So I'll be cutting it out on the other line. And let's hope this works. I'm just trying to think of a way we can do a design. Work it out on paper first. So hopefully this works. I'll do this side. Okay, so this will be next to the bottom layer, okay? And it should work. And this should be on the bottom because it's next to the bottom layer. Okay, so it'll be like this, right? And then I need another layer. Okay, so I would take this layer. Okay, I folded it. And I only have these colors, but of course you can use any color you want. And actually you can, like, if you got construction paper, maybe you can work out your colors. Let's see if I can get this. The paper gets kind of bulky, so you're not going to get like absolute precise, but that's okay. Let's go there, and then I'm going to draw that, trace that. Okay. All right. Put that up. That back. That. Now this might be lots of fun to do. Just get a stack of construction paper and try different images and designs. You might have a lot of fun doing this. Okay, so this is my third layer. Right now it's the most top layer. So that would go on top of here. Is that right? Oops. Oh, I forgot to do that. Okay. Remember I said trace it and then you have to draw the line. Oh wait, I forgot to do that part. Okay, I'm getting kind of too close to here. So maybe I'll just don't go all the way and see what happens. Okay. So I was getting a little bit too close right here. So I'm just going to see what happens. Okay, so we'll cut that. This way you can work out all your designs and maybe even your colors before cutting out your fabric. Now, I would recommend using cotton. If you can get quilting cotton, that's probably the best. I used linen, and this linen was stretching a lot on me. I'll show you. Okay, so this was the bottom layer. And then the next one, so I got to have that show. And then this, put it this way. Stack it up, stack it up. Oops. Okay, so that's kind of cool. And what's going to happen is, oh, I kind of like that idea a lot. It shows here. Now, I don't think I can go any further, but I can definitely do stuff here. So what I might be able to do is fold this back up. And then maybe this will be hard to cut out. I mean, you can use an X-Acto knife if you want. I don't know if I can cut that out with regular scissors. Let's see. Cut a little. My scissors are huge. Okay. Let's see if I could stick my blade in there. Okay. You need smaller scissors for this operation here. I'm gonna have to get smaller scissors. This isn't gonna work. Okay, hold on just a second. Probably those nail scissors or something look pretty good too. But remember, you can't cut fabric once you use your scissors on paper. The paper dulls your scissors. Yeah, this works. Okay. Yeah, this might be a fun thing to do, like on a rainy afternoon. You can do all kinds of designs, and you can put this away in a folder. And one day you might want to look through your folder and pick out a design. Okay, so that would be what it's going to end up looking like. Oh, it looks like a face. Okay, so that's kind of cool too. So you can play around with your papers. Let me see. Let's see. I kind of have white here. Look like that. Yeah. Yep. So you'll get 4 colors. Whatever colors you want. This is the top layer is probably going to be the dominant color. Okay. And then what you'll do is you'll stitch all the fabrics together on the side, and then this is the orange will be the first layer you cut. But what you want to do is trace the design here onto the fabric, and then remove this, and on the fabric you're going to do a basting stitch. Okay, let's see if you can see this. You're going to do a basting stitch about this is going to be your stitching line. Okay. Okay, so you're going to do a basting stitch. You trace your design onto your fabric. You're going to do a basting stitch away from the line, this line. Okay, because this is the fold line. You're going to cut your fabric about this much. So this is the orange. Okay, you're going to cut it, and then you're going to clip it and then fold it under. And I'll show you what I mean. So I made a small sample, and what I did was I basted around here, and I think you can see the line I drew, okay? All right. And then I clipped it every, what's that? Almost a quarter of an inch, maybe not. Okay. Now this is linen, so I had to be careful I don't clip it too close because it's kind of loosely woven, and all the stitching, it'll just unweave itself. And if you clip it, then you are able to make a nice, clean turn under. But what this was it was a big piece of fabric, okay? And this was my fold line, okay, right here. And then I cut it here, and then I clip, and then just, you can just fold it in. You can see my marks because I used a Sharpie so you could see this better. But normally you wouldn't use a Sharpie, And then you can fold it under, okay? And then I would use the little, what are these called? Applique, these little short pins. Okay, so, ouch. And then you can pin this, okay? Now, when you have a corner, like right here, okay? So let's undo that again. All right, you have that corner. You want to clip it as about 2 threads away from that little corner. I didn't do that on the linen because the linen unravels, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit more. About 2 of those woven threads. And that way you can turn this under. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. Okay, and that way you can turn it under there. And then you would turn it under here on this side too. Okay, I still need, I'm still not hitting that corner, so I'm gonna go ahead and one more thread. Okay. And if you can't turn it under with your finger, just use like a needle or something. Turn it under. Okay. So I did that. Now, I remember you want to use, let's see, matching thread, okay? So that the thread is going to disappear, but I, on purpose, took embroidery floss so you can see how it's stitched. So you can see all these little stitch marks. Okay, you want to space a little bit less. This embroidery thread is thick, so, and I wanted you to see it. So what you do is you go right there, okay, next to where it came out. Okay, next, and knot's going to be on the back side of your fabric. And then you're going to kind of go right on the fold, if you can, all right? And then once again, you go where you came out, and then go right on the fold, if you can, all right? All right, so that way your stitches won't be as visible. Oops. And then if you want, you can use your needle to just pull that fabric and turn it under, so it's a little bit more turned under if you want. So I'm going to do that again, go right where I came out. And if you can do like, this is not an 1/8 of an inch because the embroidery thread's kind of thick. But if you can do like 1/8 of an inch, okay, I'll try to do an 1/8 of an inch here. Let's see if I can. Okay, yeah. I still need to clip. Okay, I'm gonna have to clip a little bit more on the corner because I can see my ink mark. Okay, you want to use a pair of super sharp little tiny scissors or snips. I'm gonna push that little piece of thread underneath. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So hopefully that came out. Yeah. Now, think of this as the slow part of the slow stitch movement. It's something you're not going to want to rush through, just one of those slow meditative things. It does take a long time, so do it for about 30 minutes or an hour every day just to relax, do it in front of if you need to watch something on TV. Okay, I'm at the corner and I'm trying to get it to be clean here. So you can see my little yellow stitches, but you will be using matching thread color so that your stitches won't show. And I marked this with a Sharpie just so that you can see. Okay. My needle is just super thick too because it's an embroidery needle. Because I have embroidery floss in here. Okay, so you probably you want single thread, regular sewing thread, and if you use that, then you can get your stitches pretty close. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but it makes a nice, neat, clean thing. Okay. After you do your orange layer, okay, and you keep your basting stitches in. I took it out over here because I added other stitches. You're going to work on your second layer. So I went ahead and clipped it, and I went ahead and pinned it. And right here, I used blue thread so you can see how I stitched it on. And on the second layer, instead of cutting out the whole shape, I left the strip down the middle. Okay, I haven't clipped this yet. Okay, so that's my fold line right there. And then this is the turn under piece. So I'm going to clip that. Now, when you clip it, you still want to stay about 2 threads away. Okay. And this is probably not going to be an even curve. Actually, I need to finish sewing that before I do that. Oops, yeah. Let me see if I can quickly sew this up. Now, if you clip it, then you get this beautiful curve. Let's see if I can. Okay, I'm just going to quickly finish this so I won't make the stitches too close. You always want to stitch the top layer down before you work on the next layer, because and you want to go through all layers of fabric if you can, because that stabilizes everything and things aren't going to slip around on you. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the needle because it's a thick embroidery needle. And my embroidery thread is pretty thick, and with your regular needle, you should have no problem stitching all this. Okay. And you want to take this to the back and tie a knot. Now I'm going to have to put a backing on something like this because, as you can see, all my stitches right there. And that's no big deal. Okay. So now I'm going to turn this chartreuse color fabric under. And because we clipped it, it should turn very nicely underneath, okay? And you can always finger press it. You don't need to use an iron on these things. You don't want to use an iron on these things because it'll burn your fingers. And if you don't have any pins, you could use basting thread to hold these down, but it's just extra work. So I guess that's why they invented pins. Okay. Just try to neaten the curve up. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna have to work on that corner when I get to it. All right, now I need to thread a needle. Okay, I am going to use this purple embroidery floss, so way thick, super thick stuff. I'm just going to tie a knot in the back. Okay, I'm going to go from the back. Oh, I forgot to turn this part under. All right, I'm actually going to start don't start at the corner, okay? Because the corner is a little bit tricky. All right, so I'm going to start midway somewhere. Okay, and you can use your needle to kind of like clean it up, clean up the curve, smooth out the fabric. Okay, I'm not going to do 1/8 of an inch because this is, once again, embroidery floss, so it's going to be hard to get it through anyway. All right, so we're going to, so this is the second layer fabric. You can use regular pins, but what happens is they're a little bit longer. So your thread tends to get caught on the ends, and you tend to poke yourself with it because these are kind of like small. When you do the mola, it looks like it's best, the design comes out the nicest if you use contrasting colors, meaning dark against light or bright against dull or something. I did that cat one and it's not that exciting because it's kind of like almost all the same shades of fabric, it's subtle, but if you like that feel, then definitely go for it. But the black helps with the outline. And then this is the same, this is once again linen, and it's just much more bold and bright if you use contrasting colors. There's more definition, I think. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing subtle colors too. Okay, I'm gonna tuck that in. Okay. This part, the curve is going to be a lot, it's not the same width. And I mean, you can be a perfectionist and have everything the same perfect width and everything, but it's kind of fun not to have it super perfect too. It just seems to have more life to it. Like it's like the fabric is plain or something. Okay, really hard to stitch this embroidery needle through everything. I'm just going through so many layers with the embroidery needle, so it's just a little bit tough. Okay, and then once I get to the corner, I try to slide that needle underneath to kind of like tuck all that fabric underneath. And then you're going to have to do some closer stitches and be extra careful with the corners. and then turn and stitch. Okay. So what are we going to do with these molas once we finish making them? Of course, you can do a wall hanging. Not too, you could do cushion covers, but you really have to like make sure your stitches are really tiny and close together because, and everything's anchored down good because with the cushion, you know, it might, some of the stuff might move around or come apart. So be real careful. Just everything just needs to be stitched down really well. You might actually make the front of a bag. Okay. On this one, since I used linen, and linen is heavy, and especially this back layer, this is heavy linen. It's too heavy to use as a bag. It's just too weighty. Probably be a good cushion cover or wall hanging. Now, the funny thing about this linen is linen stretches a little bit. So especially that last piece, because it's so loosely woven. And this is, the top piece is cotton, so that's not going anywhere, but the linen, see how it kind of puffed up and it's become three-dimensional as I stitch. So this gave me an idea that maybe I can put this on like a canvas board or some, you know, canvas, stretch canvas, and I can actually stitch this down through the canvas and probably stuff a little bit of batting inside here and make some of these areas puff up. So that might be a cool thing to do. So you never know what, you know, certain things are going to lead you to do. Okay, so where was I? Okay, oh, I was stitching this. Okay, so once you get this piece stitched down, let's see if I can finish this so you can see what I'm going to do next. Okay, almost there. You can probably even make a tiny mola piece the size of a pocket. And if you have like a denim jacket or some kind of a jacket or sweater or whatever, you can stitch that onto the jacket and use it as a pocket. That might be cute. You can probably even make pot holders if you don't mind your work to get dirty. Okay, getting there. Once again, I'm using the needle to tuck in the fabric in the corners. Okay, so when you do this, you know, you'll be using a regular needle and regular thread, so it won't be as hard as what I'm doing right now. I'm just using the embroidery thread. So you can see where the stitchings are going. Okay, I'm at the end. And see how much of the stitching is going to be on the back side. So that's why you want to cover the back side when you're done. All right. So now I've got that orange layer, the chartreuse layer, and I've got another layer there. So on this side, what I did was I left that strip in the middle and I just cut out little triangles. Okay. This piece is actually applique on, so it kind of like sticks out. Okay. Right. And the reason why it's applique on because this piece is really this is the last color on here. There's nothing underneath this color. So I added this piece on here, and you can do that. You can even do it here, wherever. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I'm just going to cut a little tiny piece, so it won't take too long. Oh, I know. Always draw your line first, okay, your fold line, because you'll forget. And I'm going to make a little leaf shape here. Okay, you don't have to follow all these designs, all right? So I don't cut that fold line. I cut about, I don't even know what inches that is. But at the corners, you know, wherever there's a sharp corner, I will cut almost to the corner. And I'm just going to cut that out. Look at it. Okay. Okay, so what I did was I cut out this piece. Okay. All right. So I didn't cut on the line. And then you can see where I kind of almost cut almost to the corner. All right. Now, this reverse applique, sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around because you are going in the reverse, you're not used to it. So it's really a good idea to try that construction paper method and cut out your design first. So it kind of, you can train your brain to think that way, you know, in reverse. Okay, so this is my last layer that I can cut because I need that backing fabric, the absolute that this is this part, this orangey color or whatever, this yellow color is the last absolute layer that I can't cut, because if I cut that layer, I'm gonna have a hole. Okay, so and then I fold it, and that's what I was sew. Now, after you've done everything, you might want to go and add embroidery thread, right? You don't have to use all 6 strands of the floss. You can use less than that. You can use maybe 3 or 2. Regular thread, I guess you could use that, but it's probably not going to show up as much. So on this one, all I did was, you know, you don't have to be an embroiderer to be able to do this, but all I did was just regular running stitches. Okay, and all I did was follow the design. That's it. I've got a yellow one here, and then these are French knots. If you want to know how to make a French knot, I'll show you, but you can also look online, okay? But see, I put stitches here, and it just adds more texture. And these are these long stitches. I just kind of added those, all right? On the cat, what I did was I tried to follow the fur design of the cat's fur. So it's a stripy tiger cat, so I kind of stitched it in that direction. And then even the head, I just kind of went in that direction. And I think I have, yeah, and then the fish, I just kind of, to give kind of a roundish shape to the fish, I did that kind of direction. And the head is just random stitches and a French knot for the eyeball. Okay. So on this piece, this larger piece I'm working on, what I did was I'm adding French knots, okay, all the way around. You don't have to do French. This is actually called a chain stitch. It just makes a thicker and bigger, more pronounced line. And I've got straight stitches right here, and I'm making straight stitches around here. Straight stitches, just regular stabbing stitches. On the top, it just looked like it needed some enhancement. So I added some French knots. Probably need to add something bright in here. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. And after I do this, I might actually go and add beads to it, little tiny beads. Not a whole lot, but you know, probably add some beads. I'll show you how to do a French knot. Let's see where I have a thread. Okay, so on this one, I started, and one of the reasons I do the regular stitching here is to anchor all the fabric together, because you know, sometimes you miss and you can't go through all the layers. So even if I stitched around here when I'm done, you know, these might bunch up, okay? So I just added stitching, that kind of adds dimension and design element. But let's say I wanted to add French knots. So let me bring this, ouch. And I am using, when I do them, I do use embroidery thread for these places. Okay, so French knot is really easy. You just put the needle, let's see if I can show this better. Okay, you put the needle down where the thread came out, okay? And then you can do one, or you can do two, or you can do three. You wrap it around the needle, okay? Now, don't make it too tight. And then you hold that mess down with your thumb, slide the needle, okay? So the needle is going through those loops. Keep holding your thumb down, okay? And then you'll have that knot there, right? And you go back down either next to or in the same hole. I just go next to it. And then when you pull this down, it just makes a little, like a little knot. I don't know if you can see that. It's three-dimensional, see it kind of sticks up, okay? Now that's 3 loops. So it kind of makes a big sticking up kind of thing. And then you just come up, I'll make a 2 loops next, okay? Oops, got tangled up. Okay. So once again, I'm going to lay the needle down next to where it came out. I'm going to do 2, 1, 2. Don't make this tight. Hold on to where you just made all the loops in the needle, and you're pulling the needle through those loops, and then go back down where you, or right next to where you came out. So this is a 2 loop one I made. So it's a little, let me see if I can hold it this way. So it's a little bit smaller than the 3 loop one. When you start doing more than 3 loops, like let's say you did 6 or 7, that's called a bouillon knot. And I'll show you what one looks like, because I can always undo all this. And if you really want to get into different knots and stitches, you can find some videos online. Okay, so I'm doing about, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do 6. I think that's 6. Okay, once again, don't do it too tight. Hold on to that mess. It's a little bit harder to get it through. Keep holding on to it. Okay, so then it makes this do you see it? It looks like that. And then on these, you kind of want to go a little bit away from where you came out, depending on what design you're going to make, and pull that thread in. And it just makes a longer, it looks like a caterpillar. Yeah, you see that? That's kind of pretty. This one, what people do is they'll do, make one there, make one there, make one there. They'll make like a rose flower. Okay, so I inserted that pretty close to it, so it kind of like lifted up. Let me try one without it being that close, and I'll show you. Kind of, it's a long kind of a stitch. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'll do 6 on this one. I'm gonna take this, how it's poking me. Okay, hold on to that mess and then pull it through. Okay, I didn't get it too close to the. Okay, so on this, I kind of stitched it back down away from it. Now it's a little bit loose here. I got extra thread here, but it makes a long Let me see if I can show you. Makes kind of a long, it's a pretty stitch actually. And then if you just add more, and then you can, build it up into a flower, okay? But so we have the French knot, the smaller French knot, the bouillon cube that I made it 3D, and then the length long one. Okay, so this did take me a lot of hours, but I didn't work on it, in one sitting. So whenever I had some free time or I needed to take a break from something, I probably worked on it an hour at a time, sometimes maybe 3-hour stretches. I probably already put like maybe 10 hours into this already, okay? Because you got to think about all the little stitches I have to put around this, okay? And then even here, all right? And then I'm adding more stitches. So, I probably have about 10 hours in this already. And I'm probably going to, put in like maybe 20 more hours into it by the time I'm completely finished. And I might, like I said, I might put this on a, let's see, this is on a 12 by 12 stretched canvas, square canvas, and stitch it onto that canvas and maybe stuff it and make it 3D. That might be kind of cool. Okay, but I'm probably going to add beads and I don't know where this is going to take me. So it's a fun project to do, especially if you're a quilter and have a lot of scrap quilts. Like I said, try cutting out those pieces of paper, and you might come up with some cool designs. Okay, so this one, I mean, you don't have to make these colors, but these are the only colors I had, but that's kind of cool. Okay, because you can always add applique in here. Okay, you can applique something, you can add stitches around here, beads, stitches, whatever. Okay, so we'll come back next time and continue our mola experience and see where it takes us. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.